guys, welcome to another episode of Property Lust and Wine, PLW abbreviated. Yes, your ladies are here, back live and direct, talking about property, lust and wine. So today we are going to be covering the topic of saving techniques, broker v the bank, and a few other things that you will soon discover. But yeah, so it's Kay on the mic, live and direct, the first one on. And we also have T here.
Hey.
Why am I talking like this?
And
I don't even know why I'm doing this voice. Like, okay, cool. But
And obviously, Tell on the mic as well.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
And who else do we have here?
so,
Rash and Mash.
Yeah.
Here in the background.
You got a guest.
so let's jump into it.
Did you introduce yourself though?
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
The drink got turned already.
Oh God. Okay. So saving techniques. Right. So again, because we cover the topic of property, we want to discover all facets of property, and of course, a major aspect of, I guess, getting into property, buying a property, is to be able to first of all manage your finances, and saving is a huge part of that. Oh, cheers for that.
Cheers.
Thank you, team.
There we go.
Yeah, so being able to manage your funds, your incomings and outgoings, is very, very important. So, I mean, from, I guess, my personal experience, first and foremost, it takes discipline. So I think saving money is, first of all, a mindset. So it's kind of deciding that it's something you want to do, and then applying yourself and kind of strategizing on how to carry it out. So like looking at your lifestyle, what your income is, what your outgoings are, what your mandatory expenses are, and things that are kind of discretionary expenses. So things that you can go without, and hopefully make a saving on. So I'll just give you an example. Back in the day, when your girl was looking to buy property, I love a coffee. Everyone knows I like to grab a flat white on my way into work, and that bitch had to go. I had to quit drinking my flat white, which was traumatic, but I got very creative every morning. I started to get the barista. What's it called? I think it's called Azera Coffee and Kenko. I got very creative.
I thought you was going to say you made it at home.
Behave yourself. You could buy a coffee machine. You could buy a coffee machine.
I mean, if you really wanted
That's going to set you back if you get a good one.
Did you?
Did you really? Have you got a coffee machine?
No, but I just like...
Listen,
I like my coffee cold, so... No, I like my coffee cold, so I blend it.
Cold
have
coffee,
an
like
iced
what, a
coffee.
frappuccino?
Like a frappuccino, yeah.
Imagine.
For breakfast.
That's not
every
coffee.
morning.
Did you? I remember you used to come in with your little like breakfast.
Oh my God,
like
yeah.
that.
My frappe.
But, sorry, flat white.
Yeah, so I started getting very creative, and I just thought, well, it's not very creative. I just got myself one of those little, like, not flasks. What did you call them? Like the takeaway kind of the on the go coffee cup things. And yeah, I just got one of those, and I just used to make a coffee to take, into work every morning. And it doesn't sound that incredible, but actually it saved me, I think, about £3 to £4 every day. And I would probably get at least two coffees a day. So that's quite a saving for me. But yeah, that's just a small thing that I did to an incremental change that over, a couple of months, I could, actually see real results in terms of my bank balance. So that's just something you could do. But like I said, it is a mindset. It does take discipline. That's one of my examples. What do you guys think? Like, did you guys do anything drastic or small to kind of
I mean, when
save?
it comes to savings, like, I feel like I'm pretty drastic, so I'm kind of won't do anything.
Fasting.
I'm not eating in this house.
Nothing.
Trust
Yeah.
me, I am that dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, for things like exercise, like I learned to just love going outside for a run. So I cancelled my gym membership because there was a whole year that I had a membership and never went.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You downloaded the app, didn't you?
I remember
downloaded
seeing, I caught her
everything.
with the braids, and she's like, yeah, I'm going gym now. I was like,
Yeah.
Like I did it and I banged it out for a while, but then I just fell in love with running because it was just easier. It was free, and I love the word free. I do. Physically, I just like, this is going to sound so dramatic as well, but I would always look for jobs that were close to my house.
Yeah.
I have never commuted apart from once when I worked in central London, every other job I've had has always been closer to the area that I live. Like, I just refuse. And right now, I'm in the best position possible. I don't spend any money for travel. I don't buy lunch at work. I actually go back home and make my lunch.
I used to do that as well.
Currently live quite close to where I work, but I just don't. What else do I do? I'm really just cheap. Like, eBay is like my favorite thing in the world.
So 2 words there: cheap and free. Love
cheap,
it.
free, eBay,
Wonderful.
Amazon. Like, anything I own that I don't wear anymore, straight on eBay.
Really good. Do you know what I did?
Returns.
The other day, I gave away. What's the name of these? They kind of like come and pick the charity, like the clothes for charity at your door. It's called I something. I don't know.
I know.
I collect.
There's a couple different ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did one recently, and they I gave away like 4 or 5 bin bags of clothes for free. Maybe that I made a mistake there. I should have sold.
I mean, if they're still in good condition, like I always find things like name brands and stuff on eBay work really well. So if you've got like, I don't know, from ASOS or, you know, Boohoo, something that's kind of was there, you've not worn it, stick it straight back on eBay, and there's
Even
always
if you
someone
get
looking
something
for it.
from it.
Like, especially if it's sold out as well. A lot of people, like me personally, continually look for things that are sold out. Like, I'll like it and then I'll miss it, don't have my size anymore. Google everything, eBay, do they still have this dress in my size? And I'll find it on eBay at someone else's house. I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think for me, my journey wasn't as straightforward. So initially, when I saw TELLE buying a property, I was like, oh, okay, better get my ass in gear. And I was like, yeah, let me start saving. So I just put away a sum every month that I thought was acceptable to buy property this time the following year.
Yeah.
This time the following year came and it definitely wasn't the case. So I think that kicked in the second sort of drive, which made me really change how I saved. And I think when I entered that phase, I was sort of going top down. So I started talking to brokers and I was like, right, okay, I want this. So how do I get this? And I started working down from that. So it was like, okay, fine, you're earning X amount. Therefore, lending criteria is 4 or 5 times your salary. Take that out of it. Therefore, you need, I don't know, 20, 30K deposit. And at the time, it wasn't that. So I was like, right, okay, this is what I need to get to. And I just started cutting things out that I didn't need from there onwards. So it was kind of like, at the beginning, I was like, let me save, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a good way to start. I think most people start that way. You just start putting money away. But then when you really want to find somewhere and you know what you're looking for, I think it's more probably applicable to people who want to live in their property as opposed to just an investment. Then, I think, like, started sort of working from the top down and it was like, right, I need 20K by this time next year. How do I get it? I need to cut everything out. But I did all the things that you guys did, you know, cancel my gym membership. I stopped buying sort of lunch.
I think you're right. I think you do need to set a goal, because that's kind of how I started. Like, I wasn't actually saving for a property, but I just knew that I wanted to save. Like, and this is when I lived at home, so I had literally no expenses apart from my phone bill and a brief gym membership, which I ended up cancelling. But for that reason, I could basically put away £1,000 a month and still be okay. So that's, like, obviously in the grand scheme of things, I think I said this, over 2 years I should have had 24K. I still only had about 15K. A couple holidays, a couple, you know,
I know.
Things that
Life.
And
it doesn't help when your friends are living their best life as well. Your friends are not out here buying properties, you know, but you want to buy property.
And this is it. And half of the money as well, I don't even know where it went in the end, but it was just...
That's how it goes.
I wasn't saving for a property. I was just saving for the sake of it. So for that reason, I think you're right. When you talk about top down, it's like you've already had the conversation. You know that's what you want to do. So I think part of it is setting that as a goal first, because then you'll meet goals and targets. And even if you just fall a bit short, it's better than not trying at all.
I think you're spot on as well, TELLE, because, like, I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, you were saving just for the sake of saving. And I think, you know, property aside, saving is actually a lifelong skill, and actually maybe cutting those trips in half, maybe, you know, not going to every drink up, maybe going for, you know, a couple of them as opposed to all of them. Socials, again, I would go for socials, but maybe pre-drink. Pre-drinking is a saving
That is
pre-drinking is a saving grace. So it's a cheap way of having fun. So you kind of, like, you know, you get your turn up at home and you get yourself crunk, and, like, by the time you get there, instead of having to order like 3-4 cocktails or kind of go halves on a bottle with you and your friend, like you can just be in the zone already. And then when you get there, maybe a top up, a shot, a tequila, Jaeger bomb, whatever, to get yourself in the zone. Another one, and actually I know that we get kind of entangled in this when you're like in university, is credit card debt.
Overdraft.
A lot of the time we are deceived into thinking it's free money, but it ain't. You gotta pay that shit back. Credit card debt. What I would say for anybody who does get a credit card is just remember to pay that ish off every single month without fail, the whole amount, not partially paying, or making the minimum payment. I would strongly, I'm very strong when it comes to credit cards, just because I know a lot of people that have got themselves in some real big trouble with credit card debt. I know it's very convenient and you can spend, a sizable amount on a purchase, but I'm of the belief that if you don't have that money right now readily available to make the purchase, then it's too expensive and you cannot afford it. I think credit cards should be used solely for building credit. If you want to go out and buy coffee, pay for a holiday, whatever, that should be money that you already have to make those purchases. And of course, you make those purchases with the view to pay it back at, within the grace period. That's just me. You may disagree, but it is what it is. And loans. I don't know many people that just got frivolous loans around.
I feel like you're right. People always get a loan for something practical.
I guess credit card debt's more popular. I don't know of like an old straight up loan. You go into the bank and you're like, hey, I need $5,000. I don't know. Maybe like HP. Actually, that's a good one to talk about. Like a car. Maybe actually you could talk about that because.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say with a car generally, I just feel like number one. Okay, I'm someone who likes to drive a lot, so having a car was important to me. So not having one was difficult. But for the time where I needed to save money, my car got sold. I had to sell it. It was just easier to do that. And it was just an added cost that ended up not having to pay for. But depending on the type of car you're going to get, going for hire purchase or going for, kind of buying a car from a dealer, you can get much better deals if you try and buy outright, but then obviously that requires you to have savings to an extent. So sometimes it can work out better to get a loan. Savings. Honestly, you can get sometimes quite good deals if you get a loan, depending on your credit history. But if you've got credit card debt already, then there's obviously no point trying to get like a loan, or, if you're going to get a loan, you kind of have to have a good credit card history to do it. And the rates, ironically, are actually better once you own a property than if you don't, which is quite unusual, but it is, because I guess in theory, the banks see it as at least they've got something to recover their money against, should you not be able to pay it. So that's something that's always worth taking into account. But I don't know, I think even back to what Kay was saying about credit cards, it's so important to just have it as a minimal cost. And if you know you can't pay it back, just don't get it in the first place. Or if you've already got a credit card, just focus right now on getting that paid off before you do anything else. And also don't get another one. Credit cards are good for emergencies, but sometimes if you're finding it difficult to keep it paid off, you'll pay it off 1 month, then you need something else and you pay it off again. If that's the case and you're kind of maxing out your whole limit to then only have to try and pay it all off again next month, maybe just cancel it at that point.
Just call it a day. It's not working out.
It's not for you. Credit card isn't for you.
Yeah, this is a toxic relationship.
Yeah, very much so. We'll talk about cancelling those in a minute.
And another thing as well. Living at home. So that is a huge saver. So I know a lot of the time, I guess you go to, you've done your A-levels or whatever, for those who went to university and, you've had your independence, you've stayed in dorms, and maybe you've rented with friends and stuff, and now you're back at home after uni, and you're thinking, geez, I really like my independence, I don't want to be under my parents' roof and being told what to do, whatever. I feel the struggle, I get it, it's painful, but it's a great way to save money, honestly. Even if you are in a situation where you are living at home and your parents do ask for you to contribute, which, by the way, is just teaching you how to be responsible, it's a great opportunity to be able to save money if you are blessed enough to have a parent who has a roof that you can stay under, and, pocket whatever discretionary income, excess income that you have. Do it. that's the honest truth. You just heard T say, look, she was able to put away £1,000 without it affecting her lifestyle and her still being able to take care of her other bills, like, you know, mobile or whatever, and mobile and gym membership. But I mean, look, those are still bills, right? But at the end of the day, she was able to minimize her expenses, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel like don't feel like you know you have to be pressured into moving out so you can keep up with your friends. And you know, it's nice to have your own place. I'm not gonna lie, it's great. You know, you have your own space and you have your independence. I guess you gain a little bit of respect for being able to afford to have your own place. But I think sometimes having delayed, you know, delay gratification is the key word here. Like being able to just wait it out, having a long-term view, having a plan, and just knowing why you're at home and what you're saving for is very useful. I think when people rush life and you just rush to get out and just be there and have your own place, there's no point in you going to have your own place if at the end of the month you're in a deficit and you find that, you know, you're constantly playing catch up. You can't pay your bills. You can just about afford your rent. You can't save any money. You know, you can't have you can't have a social life because you're just trying to pay for this place that you can never really afford in the beginning. So I think having a plan, having a strategy for your life, and don't rush it. That's my honest advice. Like, just don't rush life. I think things should happen when they should happen, and just make the most of the living home situation.
Can I be a bit political here? Sorry.
Go on.
I just feel like my opinion is I actually don't feel like parents should charge their kids rent.
Why? Why?
Because
we're going to disagree.
Why?
The reason I say that is because that was probably the number one reason that allowed me to save as much as I did in order to be able to move out. So,
but what's wrong with a little bit of rent? £50 a month.
I mean, do you know what?
£100 a month.
If it was in terms of like contributing, so for example, if my mum like needed something, or you know, just needs me to do the shopping one week, you know, I will do it. It's not an issue. Like, it would never be an issue. But the way I was able to save so much was for that reason. So, and it meant that I could move out quicker. But I don't know, maybe I'm thinking from the perspective that I think I've heard a lot of parents who like charge their kids, you know, like £200-300 worth of rent, and it's quite a lot of money. And I understand the principle behind it, because you know, when you get to an adult, you should contribute. But at the same time, I think sometimes parents kind of have to take that L in the situation, because it's not 50k to buy a house anymore.
Sometimes there's no L to be taken. Some parents just genuinely need the financial aid, like they need the help. It's not even a case of I want to charge my kid rent. I don't know. You know, I mean, I don't think parents enjoy putting their kids in like compromising situations, especially if you know that if you know your child's like, I don't know, a modest income. I don't think you'd take any joy in the £300 whatever, like you just said as an example. But like, if you need that money, you need that money. Do you know what I mean? It's like. And also sometimes it could be a parent's not well, you know, like they can't work like they used to, or there's other commitments, or something's happened, and as a result, you know, that extra money needs to be coming in.
I agree with TELLE if the parent is well and doesn't paid off their mortgage, isn't in financial difficulties. No, I agree. I feel like you shouldn't charge. Why? Why?
And the thing is, I don't think not like full on rent, like not like, hey, you know, you're gonna pay what like a lodger would pay, but I mean like £200 here and there is not bad. I think number one is teaching how to be responsible, because let's be honest, when you leave the house, you will have to. But
that's assuming that they don't have responsibilities. They might have a car that they might be paying for. They might have a phone bill that they might pay. Jim, remember
that's discretionary. Yeah, but the thing is, a car is not like a core expense. Do you know what I mean? It's like something you choose. You don't need a car. A car is a luxury, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Is.
So it's like for you to tell me, I can't pay my mum rent because I have a car. Okay, well. You know what I mean? It's a luxury.
No, I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I'm saying if you as a parent, you see your child has taken care of their responsibilities, i.e. insurance, tax, MOT, on top of that they've got their gym, quote unquote, or, I don't know, phone bills, whatever. They're doing their thing. You're now going to add to that for what?
It gives them a taste of what life will be like on the other side.
I mean, I did read something how I would handle it if I was a parent. Is that
take the money, save it for them, and give it back to them?
I
would do the same thing.
Yeah, I
feel like that's reasonable, but I just feel like, I don't know. For me, maybe it's because obviously we worked within property, that our mindset is kind of naturally geared towards, okay, well, we're going to find a property, I'm going to save for this reason. But I think sometimes if you're having issues maybe saving in the household that you're in, maybe what you should do is say, look, instead of paying you rent, could you look after a monthly amount of money that I give you and then give it back to me? Maybe that could be the suggestion. That's
but
another
not
way to
everyone's
save.
parent, is financially literate, and they might squander the cash. That's what it is, right? But if you're fortunate enough to be in a situation where you live at home, you don't really have any overheads like that, then absolutely maximize that situation, because you are one of the lucky ones. And trust me, there are a lot of people who would kill to be in your situation.
And do you know what? I think you'd appreciate that when you move out. When you actually buy a property,
let me tell you,
it's almost like a pastime that you want to go back to.
It's shocking. Those first few months, I was like, wow, bills are crazy. Bills are crazy. Unexpected expenses. Like, I remember when I first moved into my flat, so obviously I set up my Thames water and everything. And like I was just using water anyhow, like just like I mean, just living life. I was like, I'll just do like 3-4, cycles. I'll just have like 2-3 showers a day. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'll just do loads with water. I'll cook however many meals. I'll just be running the water any reckless way. Boil how many pastas a week. When that bill came, it humbled me. Like I had to reassess my whole lifestyle. My consumption of water definitely changed.
That's when you start talking about global warming. Oh
my God,
turn off the tap,
that's when I became a tree hugger.
Turn off the electric, global warming.
I became a tree hugger. Like,
really is your bills.
A friend of mine, she was renting a 3-bedroom house with her sister and her mum. And she's actually like her sister and her mum have actually moved into like a place together, and she's now renting like a £600 a month, I think, room in Bermondsey. Before, her rent was like 1,500-1,600 a month, per calendar month.
Wow.
But she's made that change. Obviously, it's a huge inconvenience for her because she's used to space and a garden and all that kind of stuff. But she said, look, I don't want to buy property. I'm over 30 years of age and I haven't really managed to save. And she's somebody who has the, like a taste for the finer things in life. She likes to go and dine, fine dining and go on holidays and buys brands and stuff. And she said, look, I just need to make certain adjustments. And obviously for her, it's outside of her nature to be in such a confined space. But she had to make those changes to reach her end goal. And look. And the joke is, and again, sorry, let me even say this, like the friend that I'm talking about, she's a high earner, like she's, she's in a high tax bracket. But even with the money that she earns, she has been unable to save because of her lifestyle choices. And so that's, again, don't feel like because you're on a modest income, you're unable to save, because again, it's all based on your lifestyle and how you manage the money that you have. It's not how much money you have, it's how well you manage it. You'll find somebody on 25k manages money better than somebody who's on 50k or 60 or 70k. You find that they have more at the end of the month than somebody who earns more than they have, because of how they handle their income. So again, don't feel like, oh, I've just got my first job out of uni and I'm on 25k. What am I supposed to do? Or 21k or whatever it is. Like, just find a way to live within your means. Keyword, live within your means. And, again, obviously find ways to to generate more income if you can, because that's always helpful. Side hustles, extra jobs, promotions, whatever you need to do. But if all you have is all you have, then definitely, just make adjustments in lifestyle.
As well, on top of that is, I know we talk about bills and you may not have a lot of bills, if you don't own a place yet, but a lot of what my lessons has been looking at each of the bills, or looking at what I'm paying and is there a better deal out there as well. Because, for example, I was paying maybe like £52 a month for my gas and electricity. When I actually decided to, it's actually been over a year. I've been with the same company on the same tariff. Let me find out, managed to get that down to £42. My phone bill, so, you'll definitely have like a mobile phone bill at the moment. Like, do you need that new handset? Like, could realistically you either get by another year on the handset you've got and bring the cost down for a year? In that year, could you maybe save up the cost of your contract and actually buy the phone outright so you can still keep your cheaper contract? Could you, these are the conversations I'm having with myself right now, actually. It's for real, for myself. But, looking at your outgoings, your direct debits, like sometimes it's not all about kind of getting rid of your gym membership. Maybe it's just joining one of the pure gyms or their gyms instead of going to flipping Virgin Active down the road. Like, look at the other options, because even if you're only saving, like, if you bring your £10 a month down, £10 over a whole year is £120 realistically. So that's £120 closer to your goal. So there are ways around it. And if you did that for every single outgoing you have, you hopefully could maybe at least get £500 towards your savings a year at least. So sometimes it's looking at the smaller things, because even things like just buying lunch at work, like if you spend like £2.50 a day, 5 days a week, like you're looking at like 25 quid and 50, and is that right? Yeah, probably something about that. You're looking at a lot of money over time. And actually, I don't really know many people whose lunch is £2.50 as well. It's probably closer to like
£4 or £5.
£4 or £5, like
Yeah.
£10 if you're
Day.
going bougie and going Pret every day.
Yeah.
Like, so these are the kind of
I don't even
things
get how
where
people go to Pret and spend that kind of money there. The food's dead.
I know, but then think about that. If you did that 5 days a week, that's like 50 quid if you get like a drink in it.
Mad.
So it's a lot.
The thing is, I used to rinse Pret back in the day. More their coffees than anything, but like they had those
Coffee's
little
not good.
pasta things, and they were like £5.45 or whatever it was. I'm like, Lord,
Yeah.
oh, that's ridiculous.
It's big money. So it's just looking at things like that, and just like, instead of going to Pret, maybe you still need to buy lunch. Maybe you go get the meal deal from Tesco's down
This
the
is
road.
it.
Like,
Them the Boots ones there. Yeah,
them food savers, I'm telling
yeah,
you.
those ones.
So it's just
Getting
kind
like
of,
yeah.
when you're looking at the costs, just look at what works best, and yeah, like downgrade your lifestyle.
Do you know what? As you're talking, all I'm thinking of is like, make a spreadsheet. Just make a spreadsheet. Just organise yourself. Lay it out.
Yeah, if you
Put-
it makes a difference.
Write down
to
what
see
you're
it in front of
spending. Write down. Shop around. Look for deals.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, you will save.
You heard. And you know what as well? Like your friendship circle. Like, so if you're around people that like to spend money and not save money, then you might be in the wrong friendship circle. Like if your friends are going in a different
Yeah.
direction to you, might sound a bit crazy. This might be going off on a tangent, but it's like a lot of people forget, like, your 20s go by very quickly, right? And actually I feel like your 20s are the time to do as much as you can,
Yeah.
because you're pretty much in your prime. The most energy that you'll have, more than you will be in your 20s. The most energy you have, the most optimism you'll have, the most
Opportunities,
hunger you have, the
to an
opportunity,
extent,
the
yeah.
hunger you have for life. You know, the time when you can work for a low wage and gain as much skills as you can will be within your 20s. And I feel like you should maximize that. And if you have friends who just want to, with the little money you make from your first or second or third job, you just want to go out every time and spend it on brands and holidays and things that don't really give you any gains. Like there's nothing to it. It's like you go and have that, meal, that really nice meal at Sexy Fish. That we plan to do. Lol. Just thought I'd throw that out there just as a subtle reminder to you heifers. By the way, guys, if Sexy Fish is dead, let us know. But I heard it was good, so we're thinking of doing like a trio lunch or dinner there.
Come join us.
Yeah, why not? Bon appetit. But no, like, if you're around friends who just like spending, then maybe you need to, readjust, like just to kind of like readjust. That's not even a word. Like adjust your friendship circle.
Yeah, and I also think as well, learn how to say no, because that's the hardest thing. Like, obviously, part of adjusting your lifestyle, but don't be afraid to tell your friends no. Like, at this point in life, if I look at my bank account and you're inviting me to something that's going to require me to spend like £50, I'll kind of say to you, look, not being funny, but I can't make it. I just can't. Financially, it's just not in my remit right now. And to be honest, you don't even have to give a reason. Like, a lot of people love to ask for reasons. Like, oh, why can't you make it? Da, da, da. I don't owe you an explanation. Just know, I'm sorry, I can't make it, and we'll have to do something later on.
I can't lie to you. I grew up on Primark. £50 for what? No, sorry. Property or no property, you're not seeing me there. I'm really sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so frugal. But you know what? I feel like even if you have friends, let's just say, I mean, for whatever reason you can't buy individually, there's nothing wrong with buying together. I feel like if I knew a friend in my early 20s, like a close friend who wanted to buy property, and we had, for example, 5-10k each, put it together, buy property, in 5 years' time, sell it if you want. You'd essentially make money, just rent it out, and that's a nice bit of income. You guys can split it. Obviously, maybe put a contract in place, just because things can get a bit messy with negotiating who pays for what. But I feel like if you do have a friend or friends who just want to get property really quickly, join forces, you're stronger together. And then, if you choose to sell the property in a couple of years' time, again, nothing wrong with that. Essentially, you probably could have made money, made some capital.
What are like the legal ramifications of buying with somebody? Like, for example, if I buy with like a friend and they decide that they want to sell the property that I still obviously own,
Yeah.
can they do that?
Not without your consent, no. They can
Right.
buy you out. I mean, if you agree
Yeah.
to sell your share to them, then by all means. But again, they'd need to.
But could they
Cover.
even really buy you out if you've got like a mortgage? If you've both got a mortgage together on it, really? I don't know. If
Yeah,
that's
yeah. You can. That can be all amended.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
fine. Interesting. No, I just always wondered that. Actually, that's just always a because I think for me personally, I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have brought with somebody else. 'Cause I just feel like life
Yeah.
changes too much and too quickly. But you're
Yeah.
also right as well. Like buying with somebody, are you buying with a partner, buying with a friend, buying with a family member, is sometimes the quickest way to get on the ladder if you've not been
Yeah.
able to. Like it's hard out here. And you know, a lot of the time it's not even deposit; it's your earnings that are the
Yeah.
problems as well. So
I think for me, the main, if I was to buy it with someone now, my main reservation would be the stamp duty, because you're no longer a first time buyer. You don't benefit from the 0% up to £300,000. You're now, if you sell at any point and buy another property, you're now a single property owner as opposed to first time buyer. So you'd have no benefits. But again, that wasn't in place a few
Before.
years ago. So yeah, I guess it swings and roundabouts.
we can see what the new government does.
Yeah, it changes.
It's not
all
a
the
new government, it's the
time.
same one.
Oh yeah, sorry. Same.
Yeah.
True, true. Oh god. Let's not start with that.
Let's not.
This government will back the wealthy though. So if you've made a
Better mass and
pretty
welfare.
penny, then
Yeah, I mean, all right for some. But I don't know.
what else about savings? I think we covered the main.
Yeah, I think we
things.
covered the main things.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, definitely starting out, more than anything, I keep on telling people finances and how you manage your money and saving is very much a mindset. It's not just about the actual act of saving. So try and get that in check first and foremost. But I think in terms of saving, that's really my main advice. Just cutting back, mindset, the people that you hang out with, make sure they're on the same wavelength. And just actually doing it, the act, just actually
Yeah.
putting the money away more than
Say
anything.
to yourself, by this time next year, I need X. Do you know what I mean?
Also, set up a standing order. So at the beginning of the month, have the standing order come out the day you get paid, and then put it in an account that you never really look
Yeah.
at, or a bank that you don't like. That's not attached to your like spending account. 'Cause
Do you know
then-
the funny thing? Not most, every person I know of who doesn't actually own a property does this, and they save. I mean, fair enough, it might not be in their plans to buy a property, but they all are saving like this. Like all my friends, they are
Standing
saving
order.
like that. Yeah. It's like, it's almost like, you know, you grow up, you know you need to buy a house. You might not realise it now, but at some point in your life, you know that renting is not life. So you need to buy a house. And the thing is, the older you get, and especially as the generations go by, it does get a lot harder. Our parents' generation, there was such a thing as 100% mortgages. That's gone today.
I mean, that could come back round, but that's not the point. I mean, look, sorry to drop it, but look, even if it comes back round, still you need to have money. Like you just need to have money there. Like it's just facts. It's just what it is. I don't even know what else
It's
to
point
say.
blank.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's just mad. Like, you know, that friend at the restaurant who's like, boy, when the bill comes, it's like, wow, that's a lot in it.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I need to find that money. It's just like, and I guess just being responsible. Like, you just can't be out here living on the edge.
Not in these countries, nah. Back home, maybe. I mean, you know, you could get by planting your food and crops and whatnot, but not over here.
Yeah, cultivating your land.
I mean, I'm just gonna be like completely extra and add this question on because I feel
Why
like it's a
not?
good question. How do you guys feel about splitting bills when you go to restaurants?
Yeah, what with guys?
No,
men?
like with friends in general. Because
Absolutely, I do it on a
Yeah,
regular
100%.
basis. We do it. We've done it before.
I mean,
100%.
what about though if you're trying to save money? Would you advise that
That's more of a
person?
reason to split the bill. Oh no, hold on a minute.
Oh, whoa.
Let's really talk. Wait, hold on.
Would
Oh,
you
do you mean
advise-
if Amanda over there has ordered like 10 porn star martinis,
Yeah.
and I've ordered one rum and coke, behave yourself.
And it's not
You
even
will
2
be
for
paying
1,
for your
so I don't
drinks.
even get the other one.
You will be paying for
No.
your drinks. I'm so sorry, Dale.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not happening
that's my
today.
question.
It's not happening today.
That is my question.
No, and I shut people down on a regular basis. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, so
all the
sorry.
time.
I mean, sorry, I shouldn't have said like.
I
split
will
the bill like
itemize
that.
the bill. I'll be like, guys, like,
Yeah.
these were my items.
Yep,
like,
that is 20%. So,
Yeah, so-
yep, okay.
the service charge. How many of us are
Yeah,
here? Okay,
so, yeah.
fantastic.
And that's discretionary, so can you remove that, please? Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, look, if the service was good, I'd pay it. But hey, you know what I mean?
Boy.
If it's tight,
Property buyers don't listen.
yeah. But look, obviously, if shit's tight, then it is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
But it's not about being tight. Like I don't know. I mean,
if the service has been
you
good,
can treat your friend. I guess like sometimes it is. You know, if we go out for a drink.
actually
or
tell a
meal,
lie. I have removed
sometimes
service charge and then tipped the person who served me before because I just felt that made more sense to me because I wanted to pay the person who served me as opposed to just giving
Yeah.
the establishment. But no, look, I get it. Look, me personally, I will do the itemized bill. If someone's been very reckless with their orders and you feel like I'm going to pick up your tab, you're very mistaken.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
not
always the
doing
ones
it.
who's not buying. Like, what are you saving?
Yeah.
Are you saving for something? Can you please?
And also,
get
sorry, let me
somewhere
even bring
else?
this in. Like, so sometimes you have friends. Obviously, let's be honest, not all of us are of the same financial background. So you have people who are more privileged than others. So if you have a friend whose parents have deep pockets and are very well, and whilst life is not fair, I have to make certain sacrifices that she may not have to make because my life is such. So, but of
But you
course,
just
if you're
learn the
not.
principles of saving, though. That's like a basic. You should.
I know, but unfortunately, I mean, I know some people that have never had to save a day in their life. Like, they literally spend everything they earn because they know that money's never going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I just feel
You
like in
know,
those
so-
situations, though, if like shit.
That
hits
was
the
never my
fan-
situation, so I knew I had to. My money had to be right.
Yeah.
It was never going to be
Even
that.
if it was our situation, I don't know.
No,
It wasn't our
if my
situation, so-
parents were kicked off,
Yeah.
I would spend anyhow. Like, it wouldn't be a problem. Like, if I knew that. And most times as well, with a lot of wealthy people, they've already bought properties for their kids.
Yeah.
It's never a
I don't know. I think if our viewers have any sort of specific questions, maybe some
viewers.
viewers, listeners. Sorry. Oh god.
Listeners.
When the rum
wine
kicking,
segment's
blood
kicking in.
clot.
I know.
Um,
That's strong stuff.
Yes. Give her the rum. What's it called?
It's all right. It's all right, Kelly.
It's a tongue twister. Give them the kush with the any treatment.
Hey, we're the best.
Can you imagine that's what was in my head, and the rum was holding back my greatness. That's what I was trying to say this whole time. The devil is a liar. I was trying to say, give them the kush with the any treatment. Big tune. Yeah. Yeah, man. So.
That was so late, but I just realised what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Listen, Idonia, God bless him. He's fantastic. He is fabulous. What's the other song that I used to love? Girl, you are the one.
Oh, baby.
Your pussy tighty. Oh, we are right.
love it. We love it.
We love it. Ah, you're right, me. And then, conga. Sit down on it. Blood clot. Run the thing
That's like a
down.
carnival tune.
When that song comes on, it's all over.
When are we doing Sexy Fish?
He's
like
all
a night
over.
out, please. I haven't been out for ages, you know.
Oh, babe.
For ages.
Sexy Fish is a bit expensive for me.
Since when? Since when?
I feel like we need one of these all-male podcasts to just take us all out.
Yeah.
Putting out there.
Podcast date.
Just saying. Yeah. So, like, I think savings, we've kind of like done that, right?
Yeah. What was
So
the
what's
other one?
Banks versus brokers.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
this is
yes, this is you
just-
because
yeah.
obviously you had a little list going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the questions are just kind of like, I mean, obviously having a broker, someone who can look at all of the market. I think we've spoken in some previous episodes before about how, you know, brokers are able to actually look at different lenders from different companies. Whereas obviously if you go to a bank, you are quite restricted. And especially if you've got adverse credit or if you've got like a loan, you know, it's worth going to a broker who can see if they can kind of maneuver the market for you. Whereas a bank are going to be very kind of, this is what you can get, this is what you can't get. But also I think it's just important to know what you should have ready before you actually meet with a broker. So, you know, let's say you've gone through the situation, you've saved up all of your money, you know, you've got your savings there, you're like, right, I'm ready to buy, I need to speak to somebody. You know, a lot of people go to their banks because they think because they bank with them they're going to get a good deal, and that's not, I don't think that's ever really the case. Like,
No.
it's not that you're going to get a discount on your mortgage because the bank is there. What the bank are going to do is they're going to say, great, you want to use us, here are our products, you know, we'll make it a seamless transaction. Like, you can literally just, you know, open one account, the other one you can have it joined to this account, whatever. But apart from that, they're not really going to be able to offer you anything, you know, different than what a broker can offer you. So I think it's very important in that capacity that, you know, you speak to a broker as well who can look at all of the market. And also, don't just speak to one broker. Like, I had one broker come back and give me a quote for, you know, I can get you up to, I don't know, 170,000. The other one was like, I can get to 160,000, but I can get your mortgage cheaper, like you're paying currently at the moment. So there's always going to be a bit of give and take, and no one is going to be able to get you exactly the same deal. So I think it's important that you look at all of the market. But let's say you've got your money saved, you're ready to buy a property. Great. Have you actually thought about the types of things that you're going to need? So a lot of you guys who are living at home, I think it's important to note that you might not have any bills in your name. And a lot of the time, most mortgage lenders will ask you for a utility bill. And we all know that a mobile phone bill is not sufficient as a utility bill. So maybe one of the conversations you have to have with your parents is, can you put my name on, you know, one of the bills so I can maybe contribute towards that? And in that way, that aspect of it, because most lenders are going to ask you for a utility bill. They're going to ask you for your passport and driving license or driving license. They're going to ask for council tax, utility bill dated within the last 3 months. If you're employed, which you probably would be, probably about 3 months worth of your bank statements, possibly 6, depending on the types of earnings you get coming in. Because when I was on commission, they asked for 6 months worth of statements. So if it's like a set contract, then maybe they might kind of ask for 3 months. But I'd say have 6 months ready as a backup. Also your latest P60, because they want to see how much you've been earning for the year. Sometimes your employment contract as well. They want to know whether it's a permanent role, whether it's a fixed term, whether you're going to get fired tomorrow. Like, these are questions that they have to ask. So
yeah, it's true. If you're self-employed, I think they ask for more than 6 months as well.
Oh, God,
don't
no,
they?
self-employed.
Yeah,
Like
I think you need at
years.
least a
Yeah.
year of accounts, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's, and I feel like,
And that's a lenient lender as well. A lot of the
Yeah.
time it's two or
2-3
more.
years.
Yeah.
and it's like your accounts have to be like from a specific business. So I would say on that point, you're looking at somewhere who, you know, you have to be earning quite a significant amount of money. I'm assuming if you're going to buy a property from a self-employed income solely on that basis. I mean, obviously, if you've got a business that generates money as well as your current income as well, then maybe they'll look on that maybe a little bit more favorably because you've got like a standard income coming in. But I wouldn't say that they definitely would. I feel like that's just a added, we'll take into account this much, and it has to be consistent over a period of time. Also, 3 months worth of bank statements,
As a minimum, yeah.
as a minimum, and proof of your deposit as well. So if you've got a savings account and you don't have all of your savings there, like you decide before you go speak to a bank that you're going to spend 2K, like you kind of probably need to put 2K back in at least until you've kind of seen the property that you want or something like that, because realistically they're looking for proof that you actually have that deposit level to put down.
And even with the bank statement, sorry to go back, but
Yeah.
just when I don't know if you guys had this experience, but when I was buying, when the broker sat down with me, he actually went through my bank statement. So he said, okay, cool, let's look at your spending habits. And at the time, luckily, I hadn't had much outgoings and transactions at bars and things like that at the time. But if you're going out spending frivolously every weekend at the bar or whatever, banks probably consider that and look at you as maybe a less favourable candidate to lend money on. So when they say 3 to 6 months bank statements, be smart, you know, those 3 to 6 months prior to you submitting your application, don't go out spending frivolously, you know, because the bank will kind of look through it with a fine-tooth comb and look at your commitments and how you spend. I'm not quite sure how much they consider that, but I do know that my broker certainly looked into it and said, okay, you go here, okay, so this is what you frequently spend money on.
And what I would also, sorry to cut in there, I was going to say what a good idea would actually be to have more than one bank account. Nice to have an account that you just conduct transactions with. So, for example, you have your account that you run all your bills. So any kind of direct debits that go out come from a specific account. So your salary maybe gets paid into that account, and your utility bills or any kind of expense. No, not every kind of expense, sorry, but your main bills. So like, let's just say your
like
utility
sensible
bills.
spending.
If you have any rent to pay, you know, if you have council tax to pay, sorry, then it should come from that that's allocated account, and then you should have another account that is specifically for expenses. Sorry, personally, I actually use my credit card for expenses. So like any kind of holidays or any like dinners and stuff like that, I would put on my credit card and pay that off every single month, so that when somebody looks at your bank statement, sorry, they just see that there is a certain amount of money going to your credit card bill, and not continuous transactions happening on your statement. It just looks a little bit more organized.
And I agree. I think actually one of the things like Monzo, I actually have a Monzo account, so I would say it's quite a good interpretation.
If you can just kind of clarify what, like, just kind of correct me on whatever I said that was
No,
wrong.
you were right. Like, basically, it's good. Like, the money comes out pretty much instantly. The only thing that's slightly a little bit not as quick is sometimes Transport for London, TFL. So it's like, obviously, because you don't obviously finish your journey, it takes out a little bit and then takes out a little bit later on. So that's the only thing. But I think they've clarified that now, actually. But I haven't taken the tube in a while, so don't quote me on that. But no, it is really good. And also, you can set it. So, and I've got mine set at the moment. So let's say I spend...
Should we get sponsorship from Monzo and be like...
We should at this point, because I
I'm
spend...
them a letter.
You're not selling it to me.
No, it's actually really good because like the money comes out pretty instantly. Number one.
Okay,
yeah. No, the money comes out instantly, and also you can set it. So I currently have it set on to collect change. So if I buy something and it's like £8.70, it'll take the 30p and put it automatically into a change account.
He's not downstairs.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like, for example, I keep checking my change account and I keep forgetting I actually have like £6 or £7 in there, because actually every time I've spent, like, even if I spent £8.20, it will take 80p to do it, like, into my account. It's really good. And you can put different pots as well, so different saving pots. So yeah, it's like if you've got £100, you can spread that over like 4 different pots, and you can change the pots as to whether one that you access or one that you can't access. So yeah, it's very good.
Okay, that's that new banking.
That's that new banking. It's handy. It is absolutely handy.
Okay.
And if you're going abroad, up
You
to
can transfer
£200.
anything. Oh, it's up to 200.
I think it's up to 200 with no fee.
Withdraw.
I heard they don't charge you when you go
They don't.
abroad.
Up to
Nice.
£200 you can do anything.
Wonderful.
Really?
Yeah, no fees.
Fantastic.